Natalie, trust in me. Like I'm your only brother. Like I'm your only friend in the world. We can pretend we don't exist. Picture this, and I will make it better. And you can make it better when you breathe in, out, and in.
I've been friends with Scott for a long time. We used to go to a co-working space together, but I've never been able to go hiking with him. He's just a good dude, and he's a good climber, and he's a good photographer. So I was really excited to go and climb a mountain with him. I don't know what it is about this trail. Every year I tell myself, like, I don't need to go here again. I have gone to Colchuck. I have gone up into the enchantments. I don't need to be back. And every year I find myself back here again. I don't know if it's not a bad thing. It really is. It's really not a bad thing.
This is just a chapter. One will be a factor. When our lives have settled all the way down.
We got up to Colchuck Lake, still kind of gray skies, and really weren't sure what the afternoon was going to hold. Really hoping that it would get brighter and prettier and stuff like that. But I guess the objective was to make sure we got to the top of the mountain. But because we've both been up for quite a few times, we knew, like, it's really easy to stop and take pictures along the way. It's like, oh, it's so pretty, blah, blah, blah. But it just gets so much prettier the further you go on. You have to do it a few times until you can really trust yourself of, like, no, this is only, like, okay, pretty. We can wait and then start taking pictures once we get to the lake, because that's when it's really worth it. This is when I started taking my first photos with the Hasselblad. The first thing you pull that out and you hear the thunk of opening that camera is just such a satisfying sound. Once I finished off that roll of Porsche 160, I then put in some gold 200 before we started continuing climbing. We got around to the other side of the lake and then began working our way up the snow to, like, start actually climbing the mountain. This is the point that we knew we were going to be on snow for the next hour or so. So we switched and we put on our crampons and began climbing. And obviously, anytime we stopped, we were pulling cameras out because two photographers climbing a mountain, we're going to take a lot of pictures. I really hoped this photo would turn out cooler. It's not, but the rock was just such a cool rock, and yeah, it's what happens.
Flicker in your eyes, there's shadow people everywhere, waiting for commands, hoping for a better year to keep up with demand. You were made to live your life.
I do want to say thanks to Scott for sending me a few of the photos he took of me, because these are probably the most epic photos of me that exist and will never exist.
Trying to bring it down. You don't want a part of it, so you won't turn around. This won't end in a tide.
So after climbing up the Snowfield, we got to the top and were able to take our crampons off and continue on up to what would be the peak. We knew that like straight ahead of us should be Mount Rainier, but it was like covered in clouds. The part that we're climbing on snow was on mostly like a northeastern facing slope. So here in the northwest, that means that that's where snow will live the longest. But once we crested into the saddle and continued on up, we were then on kind of a western facing slope. And so that had all fully melted out. And so we're going to be walking on rocks for the rest of the way up, which in some ways is easier, in some ways is harder than walking on snow. Like, obviously you can slip and slide on snow, but crampons help, so it kind of goes both ways. It's pretty epic to be up that high. I mean, this is a 8,000 foot plus peak. And so by this point, like we're well over 7,000 feet in the air, and just you can just see forever, you can see peaks. This was about a year after I'd done my J section run, and so from this point I could see the trail that I had been following when I was running that, and it's just an incredible view. And we made it to the top, which always feels really good, and sometimes feels like weirdly anticlimactic just because, I don't know, mountains kind of like float over, so like the last few steps usually don't feel like a whole lot, but you get there, and that means you get to eat your sandwiches. Once we got to the top, we both were able to finally put our backpacks down, and then kind of went to town taking a lot of pictures. I think Scott probably took more, but also because, you know, digital cameras usually take more pictures than the new ones. I don't know if I actually really love most of these film photos, but I don't know, they're fun to make. With that, Scott has been working on his Washington 100 project, and I don't know, I'll let him explain it.
Here we are on the summit, my 12th summit of 100 summits as part of my WA 100 project. It is a project that involves climbing the 100 highest points in Washington State, all of which sit in the Cascade Range, a mountain range that, without exaggeration, transformed my life, and I hope to dedicate my life to documenting and experiencing. And the project is all about shining a light on the landscape as well as the outdoor community, the amazing folks that make up that community, and certain nonprofit groups that serve a variety of folks within the outdoor community. And by shining a light on those folks and perhaps inspiring others to connect with their own local landscape, I hope to do some good as part of this project, and while leveraging the great privilege that I have. So it's an honor.
I love those portraits of Scott. Like, I mean, portraits are much more like, as much as like I like taking pictures of mountains, I probably have more experience taking pictures of people, and so it was really fun to be able to be in a place and actually combine those two things. And not have them be wearing wedding clothes. So a little bit of a new challenge, but also like a really fun experiment for me. And then definitely bringing the Hasselblad made it 100% worth it. Also, while we were on that summit, Scott took these photos of me, which I like them a lot. Or actually, you know how on your iPhone, you can make it so when you ring, other people see it? Yeah, I use this photo. I feel really cool. Just like so cool in it. We were debating whether we should stay through sunset, but it was going to be like 3 more hours, and that kind of then was going to lead to a lot of hiking out under the dark. So we decided to hike out, and as soon as we started down, the clouds parted and Mount Tola popped out, which, using an 80mm lens on medium format, still looks itty bitty off in the distance. It's there, I promise. As we were hiking down the Snowfield, the light just kept getting better and better on the sunset. Like, it was so spectacular, seeing the lights change on the mountains around us, and knowing that like the peaks next to us were starting to get color too. Like, it was going to be a good one. Yeah, I should probably put the phone away, shouldn't I? We finished off with a couple good photos of Dragon Tail over Colchuck Lake and started home. And it was a good trip. Do cool things with your friends, climb mountains. It's always worth it. And bring your heavy, medium format cameras. Like, it's totally worth it. They don't weigh that much. They definitely weigh less than my helmet and my, like, ice axe. So those are pretty important. So I think the Hasselblad's pretty important too.
Natalie, trust in me. Like I'm your only brother. Like I'm your only friend in the world. We can pretend we don't exist. Picture this, and I will make it better. And you can make it better when you breathe in